welterweight ring for the World Boxing Council Cruiserweight Championship. First, our official for the main event. Judges, Rudy Ortega. Judge, Jack Downey. Physician at ringside, Dr. Ketchum. Your timekeeper and knockdowns at the bell, Bert Steele. Your referee for tonight's main event, Jack Campbell. And now, from Missoula, Montana, the former World Boxing Council Cruiserweight Champion, now ranked #1 contender for De Leon's crown. He weighs in at 185 pounds for this bout. May I present Marvin Camel in the blue corner. Camel. And his worthiest of opponents, a great local favorite who has fought all over the world, the man who long ago set his sights on the Cruiserweight title. From Oakland, California, by way of Nigeria, he will weigh in at 190 pounds, presenting the one and only Bash Ali.
Let's go to the center of the ring. The referee, Jack Campbell, also a veteran and high-quality official from the Bay Area, will give the fighters their instructions.
All right, gentlemen, we went to the dressing room. We talked about the California State athletic rules. Are there any questions? All right, have a good fight, and the best man win.
All right, this is it, the main event. This is why we're all here tonight, to decide who will get a shot at the WBC Cruiserweight Championship.
And it's safe to say that motivation is not a problem for either of these young men.
Camel 30, Ali 25. Ali, you will notice, looks even smaller than the 3 inches shorter than Camel that they're listed on the table of the tape. Round one.
Camel, a little more the classic style boxer. Of course, he has the size. Admits fully he knows absolutely nothing about Bash Ali.
And Ali says he saw the De Leon fight, so he has at least the knowledge that Camel can be beaten. He's seen him beaten.
One thing I think you'll be impressed with tonight is, for the size of these men, and of course the cruiserweight is one of the light heavyweight divisions, they both are exceptionally fast.
Camel's especially interested in physical culture. He runs his 5 to 6 miles a day, and at each telephone pole along the way, stops and does 15, 20 push-ups, a total of about 400 before he's through with his workout. Says he's missed working out only 5 times, in the about 20 times in the past 5 years.
Camel got in a pretty good left on Ali, and I think you're already seeing some respect being developed by Ali. Obviously, one thing that Ali has to be aware of is that this is by far the classiest opponent he has ever faced.
He went in against Yaki Lopez, a well-known light heavyweight. Lasted the whole fight, but didn't win a round against him. One thing about Ali, although he's very unorthodox, has not been boxing for a long time, he is a very strong young man.
Also an exceptional athlete. Very agile. And in the Yaki Lopez fight, illustrated he can take a punch.
Good body punch by Camel as Ali tried to come in. Nice jab.
Ali may have difficulty with, that is the fact that Camel sets him up as a left-handed fighter.
Yeah, that's an important point we haven't mentioned yet, that Camel, as you can see, is a left-hander. and is dominating easily so far.
Ali, with his limited experience, may have some difficulty making the adjustment to meeting the left from deep rather than from the jab.
Ali has been knocked down a couple of times in previous fights and come back to do well. A slow starter. A little bit after the ring, after the bell.
Marvin Camel, the first WBC Cruiserweight champion in history, as that category was only developed a little better than a year ago.
As you notice, nobody's talking to Marvin Camel. He runs his own corner. He just
Very
has a cut
interesting
man
point.
there.
Very interesting point, too, Jan. And he made it very clear to both you and I yesterday when we talked to him at the hotel that he is his own man. Now, that has its pluses and its minuses, because a little later in the fight, as you now see Ali getting a lot of advice in his corner, much the contrast to what you saw in Camel's corner. But Camel, if he were to get hurt in the middle rounds, your thinking doesn't function quite as clearly. And to begin to have to make your own decisions yet, strategy-wise in the fight, without really having a manager in your corner can be a disadvantage.
Camel with a long jab.
Ali really telegraphs that punch.
No one's ever going to accuse Bash Ali of being a pretty boxer. What has gotten the young man into this fight and what helped him beat Jesse Burnett to win the U.S. title is his heart and incredible strength. When he does hit you, it hurts.
You are now seeing Marvin Camel display some of the form that won him the first WBC Cruiserweight title. Bobbing, weaving, dancing, moving from his left to his right to his left. He's very active in the ring. He is definitely a boxer.
He didn't figure that he would be able to knock Ali out. His plans were to be able to outbox the whole way.
Camel will be very frank in saying he approaches no fight with knockout in mind. Decision is where he wins his money. And of course, the decision against De Leon, despite how badly he was beaten in his face, was not unanimous. It was a split decision.
De Leon, after the fight, said that it was the best performance he'd had in his career. Camel, as you said, was coming off an illness. So what does that say if they get a chance to meet again?
It means that Camel wants him very badly.
In his way, young Bash Ali. Ali walked into a gym in Oakland, California 3 years ago, never having boxed before, looked up into the ring and said, I can beat anybody in there. Got into the ring, took a whooping, and then decided he had to learn the manly art of self-defense, the science of boxing. Has done so to the point where he is now fighting the former champion.
And ranked number 4 in his division. Campbell was looking for the haymaker. He had it down there and ready. Notice that every time Ali is going to attack with what he wants to be a strong blow, he drops the other hand. And that could be dangerous to a counterpunch.
About to fall in our laps here.
I have to point out, too, Ali may be confused.
Third round coming up.
I'd like to get the story about the names on his boxing trunks. Let's go back and look at some of this action. I'll tell you the story in a minute. Now look at his look at his trunks as we go along. He's got Amy and Doris on his trunks.
You know, he's got 4 wives back in Nigeria, perhaps, although those don't sound like African names. It could be the women who designed his trunks for him. He's got a wife here in the States as well. And he says, in fact, if he does go ahead and win the championship, he figures that might give him enough impetus to ask that he can bring his other 4 wives here. You know, there's a political reason for that in Nigeria after they had a conflict several years ago, and a lot of the men were killed off. And so it legitimately is an important function in society that one man be able to support several women.
Marvin Camel and Bash Ali, round 3. Ali is in the blue trunks, the shorter of the 2 fighters. Camel in the white trunks, and Ali really scoring heavily for the first time.
Camel going for that body punch. He knows that'll add up, and later on, the left will come down.
Ali is talking to himself.
Camel trying to set up the uppercut. Trying to catch Ali coming in with the uppercut.
You heard referee Jack Campbell telling Marvin Camel after the low blow to keep him up, Marvin, keep him up.
Camel jabbing well. Doing the body punches. No, that was a push. That wasn't a punch. Camel using the leverage of his height. Every time Ali does get inside, he leans on him and pushes him back into the ropes.
Again, the warning from referee Campbell to Marvin Camel, keep him up. Oh, there it was. Ali now scoring. His adrenaline is flowing.
Camel faking. Camel faking as though he's hurt, trying to get Ali to come in and catch a sucker punch.
Camel knows all the tricks in the trade. How to tie up his man. He'll counter-punch when he's retreating, and actually Camel has scored more on the retreat here in the round than Ali has on the attack. I might be inclined to give round 3 to Ali. He was definitely the aggressor. He scored his biggest blows earlier in the round. But when a round is close, and in talking to one of the judges for tonight's fight, Jack Downey, he indicated to me that if a round is close, he will always try to pick a winner. He does not like to pick a draw in the round. And if it's so close, then the deciding factor will be which of the fighters was the aggressor.
There was a lot of good action in that round. Let's take a look at some of it here. As you said, Ali fighting to come in. That punch was a good one. Missed there.
He missed again. Actually, he misses 3 here, and he had 2 good opportunities. He did have Camel retreating.
Camel has scored often with that left hook to the body. It's got to be telling as the fight goes on. Round 4. Let's go for it.
coming in. That pop as that long left comes around. Ooh, on the rebound. That's counter punch in the jab by Camel. Ooh. Oh, good right. He staggered Camel. Ali staggered Camel.
You predicted a good action fight?
I know you spin.
And we have it, every bit of it here. Round 4, Bash Ali, Marvin Camel, the WBC Cruiserweight elimination. The winner, in all likelihood, will meet Carlos De Leon in November for the Cruiserweight Championship of the World.
Camel holding on that time as they were breaking. I don't know what that's an indication of, except that he wanted a little bit more time before he let go there. Again, trying to lean on and walking back into the ropes.
Oh, they exchange simultaneous shots to the head. Oh, another shot to the head.
Come on, get this strong for him back. Lift it up with your right uppercut.
Again. They are slugging it away here in round 4.
Camel setting up the left hook. He's going to go to the body, and then pretty soon come upstairs with that same left hook.
The shorter arms of Bash Ali, a factor, although he charges to the hard right.
Caught him right on the button with that right, and Camel wants to rest a minute.
Dan, one thing that's obvious here to the lesser experienced Bash Ali, he has taken maybe everything that Camel has to offer. And that has to pump you up. They are just slugging away. They're exchanging the best of each.
Little headlock punching there from each.
Can you imagine Bash Ali has taken a year out of school in political science to suffer this?
He says it's his only way to get to be president of Nigeria. A very intelligent, bright young man who points out in every interview I've heard him do that he thinks boxing is stupid. He says you got to be crazy to go out and do this, punch someone and be punched by someone you don't even know. And yet he says it is the way for him to get what he wants out of life, and so he's willing to put up with the craziness.
In the corner, Bash Ali. Let's see if we can listen in.
Fifth round coming up.
Difficult to pick up what is being said, but there's no question that they are getting advice to Bash Ali while applying the ice. Now, you're going to get a look. There's a heavy right early in the round. Ali scores very, very well.
All the time. And don't wait for him for nothing. You got to force the fight to win the fight.
You're overhearing what was being said in the corner. And they're talking to Ali not about fighting, but about boxing. Round 5. Marvin Camel and Bash Ali standing toe-to-toe. They have just come to have a war. The intriguing thing to me, Jan, is that Camel, with all of his experience, all of his know-how in the ring, really is still taking quite a pounding from the lesser talented Bash Ali.
That's Ali's talent. He hits hard when he does get to you, and he can take a punch. Now, a lesser man would already be in serious trouble with the body punches he's already taken from Camel. Those lefts have been vicious to the gut. And yet, Ali seems unfazed. And that's the kind of fight he fought against Jockey Lopez for 10 rounds. He suffered everything Lopez could give him, and at the end was still grinning. So he's a very, very tough young man.
And obviously in tremendous physical shape to be able to take the blows being offered by Marvin Camel.
And he's been had to stay in shape for quite a period here because there have been 2 fights recently that were canceled. First he was going to fight De Leon, then a fellow named Jim Clark from Nevada. Those fights had to be canceled, and so he's been in such good shape for such a while that he said before the fight he hasn't been able to eat well the last few days because his appetite has simply left him because of the tension and the
he got in a good one there.
Anticipation. Camel, a dancer. Surprising considering his personality. You'd think he'd be more of a banger.
Considering his personality, earlier today, he fell asleep at the weigh-in.
Yeah, real mellow fella. This is the most energy I've ever seen him show. In fact, he came into the ring pacing quickly all around the ring, as you saw.
Punch your way out. Punch your way out.
Come on, lift it up to the right. Come on.
Ali the stalker, Camel the dancer. Exchange of body punches.
And that body punch knocked the wind out of Ali. You can hear a grunt come up as he did. Camel setting up the left hook. You can see him setting it up. Keeps going down to the body with the left hook. And there he tried to land it to the jaw.
That's the end of round 5, and all those body punches are going to begin to show. They're going to begin to tell as we move into the later rounds of this fight. Go back and look at some action in round 4. The stalker Ali, but he walks right into that left hook that Jan was talking about, misses with a right counter, comes in and gets him in tight. This is really where Ali should be working Camel, giving away 5 inches in height, giving away 3.5 inches in reach, and yet Ali is content to just stand out toe-to-toe and give away the reach and come charging in and just battle Marvin Camel.
Pete Alvarez in Ali's corner was pointing out that every time he comes in, Camel is ready with the left down low. And that's been his strategy so far. It has been effective. He's been able to land several body blows that he, I'm sure, hopes will tire Ali.
If Ali can do any damage to Marvin Camel, you're going to hear this crowd really come to life because he is the favorite from across the bay in Oakland. There was the right. Ali took about 3 body punches to get in the right to the head, and he'll play the game again. Camel plays the football player in the corner. I have to believe, Jan, that Camel right now is just a little bit perplexed.
Yeah, he's hitting with everything he's got. So what's wrong with this fella? Why doesn't he even show it?
Remember now, Camel has never seen Ali. And there's a few rounds just to get to know this fighter and to get to know his style, to understand his personality. Now he knows because we're in round 6. Ali just laying back to get in the right. Camel laying back to get in the left.
That's your way out.
Oh, a good one from Camel inside.
Round 6. About halfway through. This is a classic example of a guy using the body punch to set up the knockout punch.
And, of course, you speak of Marvin Camel. I'm not sure that Bash Ali has enough real experience against a world-class fighter like Camel to be able to really set him up. He's just looking for his openings and trying to explore them.
That's right. And if he were more experienced, when Camel lowers his head to throw that left hook, he exposes his chin. Watch it. Camel's smart enough not to get in those exchanges again, because I think that's the only way he could end up actually losing this fight, is if on one of those exchanges he gets caught.
Unofficially, I would have it scored 3 rounds to Camel, 2 to Ali. He's come a long way since Yaqui Lopez working Camel over. That right is the artillery and the attack of Bash Ali, and that's the end of round 6.
Ali's face puffing up. You see Marvin Camel's left cheek, when you get a chance, is puffing up.
You don't work good. You try to knock him out with a punch to the head.
You're listening to the corner of Bash Ali.
To him and work it to the body and then go upstairs, work it to the body.
And he's really being told exactly what Jan Hutchins said a moment ago. He's leaving himself wide open, and that's exactly what they're telling Bash Ali in the corner. Let's go back and look at what we're talking about. Look, now, of course, you're seeing Ali on the attack. But when he attacks, he leaves himself absolutely wide open, never brings up the protective glove. Now the locals are getting into the corner of Bash Ali. The chant of Ali, Ali.
And Camel joins in the fun.
Ali is leading him on, and Marvin Camel is saying, why not? Wherever I go, I never have fans in my corner anyway. I'm used to it.
Really, if he has to depend on fans from Montana.
I don't think he's fought in Missoula for a long time. By the way, Camel has 3 fights behind him since the loss to De Leon in November. He won all 3.
Yeah, 3 victories then.
Ali working him over. The aggressor, the attacker. Look at the strength of Bash Ali. His gloves were tied up, and he looked at Ali and swung him to the ropes. This was the last piece of advice Ali had from his corner. Be the aggressor. He has to score the points. Oh, he got in a good left. He staggered Camel. He got him. Working him over on the ropes.
Blood coming from Camel's nose.
Check it out. They battle on the ropes right above our J&J Sports Production microphone.
Ali showing signs of fatigue. Those body punches are beginning to tell. Both of them look tired now.
Remember, this is round 7 of a scheduled 12-rounder. Good left to the right by Ali, but he turns his back. He's just a little clumsy. A feint by Camel. Oh, left-right combination. Ali scoring in round 7. There's a butt by Camel. Campbell goes in, the referee, to warn Marvin Camel about the headbutt.
Good officiating tonight. Both bouts.